on. And then go back over to this one.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we're ready.
Hey guys.
Hi everybody.
We are so excited. Thanks for coming and joining us tonight. This is our second installment of Cooking with Katie.
Oh, you've got it.
There we go.
Episode number 2, guys. So tonight we've got, we were just talking. We have a lot that we're going to try to do tonight in like 40 minutes.
Yeah, some people were like, hey, could you give us the ingredients ahead of time and then we'll do it with you?
Yeah.
But this is going to be, it's going to be a little crazy. It kind of got a little bit bigger as it went on. So it's going to be kind of abstract. This is legit going to be Cooking with Katie. Like, this is what life is like when we're going, like, she's going to start one thing and then start another thing and then finish another thing and start something else. So it's going to be a little crazy.
Well, that's how it rolls. So, but the whole theme of the episode was to keep it super simple. This is like 3 ingredients or less. And the key to doing 3 ingredients or less is to have 3 good quality ingredients and to have a good technique. And so what we're going to make tonight is caramel sauce or caramel sauce. There might be a debate on how that is pronounced.
It's caramel, but that's okay.
It doesn't matter. It's delicious, regardless of how you say it. We're going to make some homemade pasta, and we're going to take that pasta and make it into something called Cacio e Pepe, which is basically pepper and cheese, but it's so good. And then we're going to pair that with a grilled romaine salad. So if you've never had a grilled salad, it's so delicious. It sounds
so weird. And when she first made one for me, I was like, that is not okay. That's not
He questioned the whole time.
Grilled and salad. It's awesome. You're going to love it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. All right.
Should we get started?
Yeah. So what are we going to start with? Caramel sauce?
We're going to start with the caramel sauce because the sugar and water have to boil for about 10 or 12 minutes. So we're going to start with that. So we'll start with dessert first, because who doesn't want to start with dessert first anyway? So come on. I do have to give a shout out to a few people. So I have some students watching. I'm a 4th grade teacher. And so I have to say hi to Bridget. Hi, Miss Brigitta. All Bridgets are wonderful. Natalie and Gwen that live in my neighborhood, and Miss Emma. She also lives in my neighborhood. So hi guys, I'm so glad that you're joining me for Cooking with Katie. This is a whole new teaching thing. So caramel sauce, this is delicious.
So this stuff is amazing. We literally put it on.
Well, in our coffee.
Absolutely. In my coffee in the morning. We put it over ice cream. We'll put it over apple pie. And literally yesterday, I just took a spoonful of it and ate it because it's so good.
Really good on just about anything. So, and we'll probably just put it on some ice cream tonight. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So it's super easy to remember. So 2 cups of sugar, 2 cups of cream. That's how we're going to work it. So we start with 2 cups of sugar into a heavy bottom pan. I have all clad pans because they're just real good quality. And then I'm going to do 2/3 of a cup of just water. And all you have to do is, guys, crank that up to high and let that boil. You really do not want to stir this. You don't want to mess with this at all. Some people are worried about putting sugar in the bottom of a pan and that it's going to somehow burn. It's not going to. You're just going to watch it until it caramelizes, and then we've got some last minute steps to do. So in the meantime, we should make some pasta. So let's go over and make some pasta.
Okay. So people have been asking, and you guys can put questions as we're doing this, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. People are asking about our quarantine routine. What do you guys do during this whole time of social distancing and being home? So we kind of, I don't know if we're weird or normal, but we play a lot of just kind of games at night, especially.
We have had some skip-bo tournaments, some Yahtzee tournaments back in.
Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart. We have a new game called Cover Your Assets. I did not swear.
Probably
it's a really fun game, though. I love it.
Cover your assets. Yeah, but during the day, we really do kind of go our separate ways. Our kids are a little bit older, so they're pretty independent with their learning. I'm usually at the kitchen island making all kinds of silly videos about toilet paper. And
You're a
in
teacher,
your
a fourth
office.
grade teacher. So,
Toilet paper Tuesdays. It's like my favorite math problem solving. So.
And painting. We painted pretty much the entire downstairs.
And landscaped.
And
lots of home projects are happening. I've noticed that around the whole town. There's lots of home projects.
Okay. This is
pasta.
Homemade like pasta, and
once you have homemade pasta, you really don't want anything in a box because homemade pasta is like softer, chewier, yummier.
it's so good.
And it's 3 ingredients. It's flour. So I've got 8.5 ounces of flour. It's basically 2 cups of flour. It's really good to use 00 flour because it's super fine. But if you can't find that because we are in the middle of our little COVID crisis, all-purpose flour totally works as well. So we're going to do this. I'm going to show you how easy it is because I'm going to make Justin. Do this. So you just pour it onto a cutting board and you just kind of make a mound, and then you got to get dirty because it's not fun if you can't get a little messy, right, Justin?
That's right. Yeah.
Justin does not like a mess. I, however, embrace the mess. So
I'm gonna do this. I've never done this before.
I know it's gonna be so much fun. So we're gonna crack 3. I have 3 large eggs here. So I'm just gonna crack them right down into the well that I just made.
The crater.
Or the crater, we could say that. So we're gonna just do that right there. Look at that. And into that, I'm going to put a teaspoon of salt, which is across the room. So hold on 1 second.
I'm gonna mix this.
Yep. So I have, I always use kosher salt, like the coarse ground kosher salt. It's just so much better, and it's not as it's just not as harsh as some of the other salt. So what you're gonna wanna do now that you've got kind of like your volcano is you're gonna take a fork, I'm gonna have you do it, and you just start blending your eggs.
Like that?
Well, no, you're gonna stir it.
Like, what if it goes out?
So then you just start to incorporate your flour by pulling it in. You're eventually...
Like that, or like this. Like
yeah,
this?
and around.
Well, I don't want to mess it up.
See, it's so simple.
Anyone can do this. Okay, so just...
keep going around.
Oh, see that? See that?
Okay.
I saved it. It's okay. It's okay.
So go around. Use your fork. Yeah, there you go. Start mixing it. Oh, gosh.
Okay, then what? Now it's over here. Okay, but no, for real. Am I doing it right?
Yeah, kind of. So there you go.
Okay.
When your fork is no longer a viable tool.
Is that now?
Yeah, you're almost there, bud.
Just keep doing this?
Yeah. So he's just going to keep mixing with his fork. And when his fork no longer is a viable tool.
I don't know what that means.
It's no longer working for you.
No, it's still... Am I doing this or you?
He's going to...
This is my job. It's my one job.
It is your one job.
So now I just use my hands?
So now he's going to use his hands. And he's going to knead this for like probably about 10 minutes, honey. It's going to be really...
All right. I got this. So I just kind of make a ball?
Yep.
This is right? I'm not messing this up?
You can't mess it up. That's that's the beauty of it. I don't
know about that. I think I'm...
So it's going to feel like it's not going to come together.
Like it's not right.
And just keep pushing the palm of your hand like just down into it.
Like that.
Yep.
That's how you do it. Just like that.
And you just keep on kneading it.
You get it on your hands. It'll come off.
Justin doesn't like to have a mess.
It's fine. This is good. Everyone likes that.
It is.
See, that's normal. Is this supposed to stick? Is it because I'm
you're going to get it off your hands.
Okay.
And then just keep kneading it into the flour.
How's that going over there?
It's fine.
Does it need... It's sticking to my hands so bad. I am freaking out. Is this happening to anybody else? No, they're not doing it with me.
I think Sarah Poyer is trying to do this with you.
Oh, Sarah. God love you. Okay.
So if you are like Justin and your dough ends up super sticky.
Yeah, it is.
It's really not that bad.
Okay. I don't think I need more. I think I'll be right.
You can always just
it's starting to come off of my hands now, so it's good. It's
a little tablespoon at a time, add a little bit of flour. If your dough is super, super dry, and sometimes the humidity of the summer will like mess with your dough, you can add just a little skosh of olive oil.
How much is a skosh?
Well, just a little dribble.
A dribble of olive oil?
Just to be
Is that
specific.
a teaspoon? Half a
Yeah,
teaspoon?
sure. Yeah.
Skosh.
Yeah.
That must be British. Is that a British measurement?
I don't know. You know who says that is Zach Strout. Hi, Zach.
He's not watching.
He's watching.
He
He
is.
loves me.
He is disciplining his children right now. Just keep doing this.
Yeah, just keep doing that. Yep.
Just like that. And if you need a little bit more, you can just kind of bring it over there.
So the reason that you continue to knead this again and again and again is that just develops the gluten in your dough. So we're not gluten-free people.
No, you need the gluten.
We are full gluten people.
But you got to knead it.
But you're really going to want to just continue kneading that. I'm going to check on the caramel.
Get the palm of your hand down in it.
Do you want to answer a question? Do you have a question?
My hands are kind of full right now. So
All right, here, let me take this. You go wash your hands. Bless your
I don't
heart.
have any. Thank you, Marie Corey, for your encouragement. She says I'm doing great.
Marie, you're so kind. You're going to notice if you're doing this with us that this dough just gets
Ken,
really,
you
really
need to help
soft.
your wife do this. This is going to be fun. It's a good
My
bonding
hands don't look like that. I
moment for you. Oh my gosh, I love it. All right, can I wash my hands now?
Well, they are a mess.
Okay.
Yeah. So once you do this for about 10 minutes, you're going to want to let your dough rest, and that will continue to develop that gluten. And so I usually just wrap it in plastic wrap, leave it on my counter for like 15 to 30 minutes.
Did you talk about the type of flour?
I did.
I did. I just testing you. I was listening. I heard everything you said.
He listens as well as all of my students. So yeah, you just want to keep on doing that. If you want to wait until later to put your dough into your pasta maker, you can put this in the fridge for a day. But basically, you're going to want to take some saran, tightly wrap your ball of dough, and leave it on the counter. And you're going to know that you're ready to wrap your ball of dough if you press on it and your fingerprint comes back. That's showing you that your gluten has developed. So, and it's going to be even more pronounced once you've let your dough sit for a little bit. Make
Let it
sense?
sit for a bit.
Let it sit for a bit. I have some that's already been sitting, but I think we should do the caramel sauce first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's looking good over here. Keep coming up. You can see it still needs to get a little bit darker though. Am I right?
I think it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyhow. I was thinking about the quarantine routine with our animals. So our animals are not used to us being at home all of this time, and I don't think they really know what to do with themselves at this point in time. They're kind of funny. But I did have a student today telling me that his dog decided to have an adventure with a porcupine, which our dog has had several misadventures in the past.
The porcupine one was
The
fun.
porcupine one was fun. The skunk one was fun. The hypothermia was fun.
The hypothermia. I shouldn't laugh. That's not funny. Like, you know, like, ha ha, hypothermia.
The
What kind of sicko
hypothermia
does that?
was when Colby went across the river when we lived over on the Mousam River. And I was getting up like every half hour to go check on the dog. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think the dog's gonna die. It's -10 out and he's been out all night. So it's 3:30 in the morning and I finally hear him on the other side of the river whimpering. And my heart was like, oh my gosh, this dog's gonna die. So I went upstairs and I tell Justin, hey babe, I'm just gonna get my paddleboard out and just go across the river real quick.
It's half frozen. Like the river is literally half frozen. It's like, it's perfect for like death on the river.
It
And
is.
she's like, I'm just gonna get on my paddleboard, and I'm like,
And he
what?
said straight up,
row?
and he's like, no.
Row?
Well, I said, well, maybe I'll just grab the canoe because that's a little more stable. He got up and saved the day.
Ooh,
Come on over. So here we go. Look at this.
You're gonna be scared that it's gonna be burned. You're gonna be like, no, it's
So
too dark.
basically, you're going to look for this caramel flavor. Now, I know candy thermometers have a caramel setting on them, but you know me, I can't handle a thermometer. So I'm looking for a smell that smells really yummy, and then, oh my gosh, am I burning it? That's the smell I'm looking for. And notice this really beautiful chestnut flavor, or the chestnut color. So this is done. So what I'm going to do is pull this off of the eye, and what I have is just a pint of heavy cream. So you remember you've got the 1-to-1 ratio. So I've got 2 cups of heavy cream, 2 cups of sugar. I'm going to take my heavy cream and I'm going to put in about half, and you guys are going to be like freaking out because it's going to seize up and you're going to think.
There you go. Now watch it.
You're going to think that you have completely ruined this because this is what happens.
You're like, oh, fail.
Yeah. Oh, and the steam is a little hot. I'm not going to lie, that's a little hot. So you just need to just continue to stir it. Don't worry. And look at that beautiful caramel flavor, or color. I keep on calling it a flavor. The color. So now that I've got some of the cream stirred in here, I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of my cream in here. If you want a caramel sauce that's thicker, you can always reduce that cream. And I always like to put a little bit of vanilla, which that also bubbles up a little bit sometimes. And just a pinch of salt. My mama always said that if you don't salt your sweet's gonna go flat. I don't know what that means, but it sounded really good when Mama said it, so I always salt my sweet. And as you can see,
oh wow, that's a good color.
Our caramel sauce is done. Now this stays beautifully runny, not super runny, but it's not necessarily a caramel sauce that you have to heat up in the microwave in order to get it in your coffee.
No, it's kind of drippy still.
Yeah. So once you feel like what's seized up, that sugar has sort of melted into your cream, you can pour it into your mason jars. And I like to do caramel this way rather than doing the butter brown sugar because I feel like the brown sugar is a bit of a cheat. This actually really did caramelize that sugar.
Now, can you use half and half instead of heavy cream? Can you use light cream? Can you substitute?
I don't.
That's a question on Facebook.
I don't think that you should, because you want to know why? Because fat is flavor. You want the fat from that heavy cream. Well,
now you're off the heat right now, right? Like
I am off the heat.
All that mixing is done off the heat.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just pour in. Oh, good job, Katie.
Look at me, look at me, look at me. And there you go. You got yourself coffee for weeks, caramel lattes. Take a look. Now, as long as you've got a nice sterile jar, this will seal itself because it's very hot. And it makes a really great gift. I sometimes give those away for Christmas. So, caramel sauce, done. Amazing.
Okay. Someone asked, does Justin have nights that he cooks?
No.
Yes, that's not true. There have been times where Katie's been gone. And
that's true.
And I cook, and I cook things like this. DiGiorno Rising Crust Pizza. Yes. It is always a crowd pleaser. If that's backwards, it's DiGiorno. And then because I know my wife's always going to ask, did you give them anything like vegetables? Then I do this. This is a good trick, guys. Steam fresh mixed vegetables. I literally bought these. I have 2 packages for when I'm home cooking. This is how I cook. You put this in the microwave, instant vegetables, so that when my wife asks, did you give them anything worth eating? Right here, baby. Right here.
Did you guys see the judgment on my face? I was food shaming him just a little bit. All right, let's talk about rolling out this pasta. So if you have a pasta maker, obviously that is the best thing that you could have, but there is a way to make some fettuccine or some lasagna noodles without your pasta maker, but I'm going to use mine. So I'll tell you how. So I've got a ball of dough that we made earlier, and this has been resting for a while. And I always start by cutting this into fourths because it's just easier to work with. So just gonna take this, I'm just gonna show you, I'll cover this back up so it doesn't dry out.
I'll do that.
Okay, you do that. That's the sous chef. That's what happens when you're a sous chef.
How do you
isn't
spell
it?
sous? It's not S-U-E.
S-O-U-X.
S-O-U-X? Does
Oh,
anybody
no,
know
it's
how to spell
French,
Sue?
isn't it? I don't know.
It's not a boy named Sue. It's sous chef.
Sous chef. I don't know. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking my dough. This is still a little bit cold because it was in the fridge, but I've got a pan underneath my pasta maker. I kind of go by the rule that you really can't have too much flour because you actually want your dough to be kind of able to be like once it goes through your pasta maker and you make spaghetti or fettuccine, you want to be able to separate those pieces. So there are different settings on this. This is a number 1 setting. Do you hear our dog running around? Our daughter is supposed to take him upstairs, but she's just laughing. It's so much fun. So I'm going to just pull this through. If you don't have a pasta maker, you can go ahead and just begin rolling it with a rolling pin and trying to get it as thin as you would like a pie crust. So I've got this, and the next step is to actually fold it into thirds. I'm gonna flour again on either side, and I'm gonna go back on the same setting, the number 1 setting, and I'm gonna just pull this on through one more time. And as long as it's coming through in a nice piece that's not like cracked or anything, I'm just gonna continue going into my different settings. Each setting that you go down, so setting 2 is thinner than setting 1, and I usually try to get this down to about a setting 5. And I kind of just flour each side as I kind of go through. So now I'm just gonna continue feeding my pasta through my pasta maker. And I can just speed this up just a little bit.
All these recipes are in the description of the YouTube video, so if you can download those. I literally typed them up today. One of the things that I've always said that I wanted to do is that Katie really doesn't follow recipes.
I'm really bad at that.
And so I've said, you know what I want to do one day is just follow you around and write down what you do. So that's kind of what I did this time. Just literally, it's on a Word doc that I made into a PDF, and it's.
Now I do
just
follow
asked me what to do.
recipes when it comes to baking. If you're making cookies or bread or something like that, you probably should follow a recipe. Oops.
All right. So if somebody doesn't have one of these fancy KitchenAid little attachments.
Yeah. Let me show you what you can do. So I've now fed this through.
Did you turn it off?
Yeah. You want to put that attachment on there. So I've now fed this through so that, I don't know if you can see, but like it's so thin that it's pretty translucent. You can see my little fingers under here. So one thing that you can do if you do not have a pasta maker is you can kind of, I'm just going to take some flour and put it on here so that it doesn't stick too badly. So you can just roll this up. And just make a nice little spiral. And you can make your own fettuccine just by rolling this. And honestly, this makes the best lasagna noodles too. But basically, however wide you want your noodles, just cut. Try to be somewhat consistent. Or you could be inconsistent and it would be rustic. So, right? Like,
that's what they call it, right?
That's what they call it, and it's, you know, you can't really go wrong. Here, Justin, take some of these and show them how it can unroll. So you take these, Is it not unrolling? Did I not put enough
No, it's
flour
fine.
on there?
It's fine. It's fine. I just didn't want to mess it up.
So you can make your noodles just like that.
It's gonna fall down.
Obviously, maybe you should use a little bit more flour. This is what I was trying to tell you how to do.
It's good.
Yeah. So this is one way that you can make your noodles.
And it's so much better.
And you can make them
different.
if you love I love pappardelle, which is like almost like an inch thick. It's really good with like a bolognese sauce. You can cook, you can do whatever thickness that you want. So that's how you would do that without a pasta machine. Roll it super thin, slice it however thick you want to. If you've got a pasta machine,
booyah.
It just makes it so much easier. So let me show you how I would make some spaghetti with my pasta machine. So Justin put on the other attachment. I've got a nice floured piece of dough, and I'm literally just going to feed it in here. If you guys can see the pasta coming out, I'm trying to watch the video as this is coming out. So I usually will take this and just kind of take it like this, and I usually just twist it down on my sheet pan, and I will freeze these bundles on the pan itself and then take them and put them in a Ziploc bag, and so that way in my freezer, when I want a pasta dish, I can just take them out of my freezer. It just takes another minute to boil them, and then they are all done. So pasta 101, so easy, 3 ingredients.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
That's really good.
It's really good. I know. Let me wash my hands.
All right. People have been have asked a question. They said, "What is your favorite?" Asked to me, "What is your favorite meal that for your birthday that Katie cooks?" You'd think that it'd be something really exotic or something like that.
Exotic.
I actually really love her homemade chicken nuggets and mashed potatoes.
It's like fried chicken.
So good.
Sometimes you will ask for Southern chicken and dumplings.
No.
And sometimes we'll take that fried chicken and put it with some waffles.
Yeah, that's good too.
It's good.
But homemade chicken nuggets are my favorite.
Homemade chicken nuggets.
I don't know why.
All right. We should get started with pepper pasta. Is there a question, Ezzy?
Just looking at a couple. They said, so we need a church cookbook. I'm working on it, people.
A church cookbook.
I'm working on it.
That's like old school,
But
isn't
that
it,
would
to
be-
have a church cookbook?
Do you remember that? Like churches used to do that all the time.
They used to do
As
that all
I
the
think they
time.
do as fundraisers for the youth group or something. Everybody would put in their best thing, and then they bind it and then sell
Be
it
like the
for
fundraiser
$10.
for the parking lot.
Because we're using that every week. Okay.
That's bad.
I digress.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going. We're
Oh,
good.
I thought you had a question.
Okay. So this thing came out of, okay, Katie, this is going to be good. We'll teach you how to make pasta. And she was like, well, I got to put something on the pasta.
Absolutely.
So we're making something called
Cacio e Pepe.
Cacio e Pepe.
It's an Italian dish. It's super simple. It's one of Carter's favorite. And we discovered it. Well, my dad told me about it, and we discovered it down at the store Italy down in Boston.
Have you ever been to Italy before?
When we
Not
went
Italy. Italy.
It's
It
in
is
the
so
Prudential
good.
Center. And we went the first time, and I literally was like, Justin, will you pinch me? Because I think the rapture has happened.
She went there 3 times
It's
for 2 different meals and to shop twice.
I love it. I love
I think
it.
there's one in Chicago, New York City. They're
Vegas,
they're all over the place.
yeah.
Vegas.
There is one in Vegas. So anyway, they have Cacio e Pepe, and it's so easy, and I think it's going to catch on in America one of these days.
It's making its way here.
It's making its way.
So you would be on the cutting edge
For
of
real.
gastronomy.
Here's the key. You gotta save your pasta water. People just toss out their pasta water. They dump it down the drain. You have to save it. And
Come
it's different
on.
than regular water because it's got all that starch in it. So it makes
Gluten.
for a really good sauce. We're gonna start with a couple tablespoons of butter. We'll most likely use more. Just saying. I'm going to start with a couple tablespoons of butter here. You can see it's in a hot pan. And I have some Telecherry pepper that I ground fresh. I order my pepper from Pensy Spice. Can you see? You want to have really good peppercorns. You do not want to take something that's been ground like 3 years ago. You really want to ground it fresh. It's going to make all the difference. So I'm going to put this right into my butter because I want it to kind of just sort of meld in. So it's a lot of pepper. It's not going to be spicy, I promise, because the cherry pepper isn't super spicy. Plus, we're putting it with so much fat and cheese that it doesn't matter.
It cuts it.
It cuts it. So I'm going to heat this up. And this is my reserved pasta water. It looks
amazing.
It looks a little cloudy, but it's okay, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry. So I'm just going to sort of whisk this in here. You're going to smell that pepper smell. It's going to be delicious. And then I'm going to take a nice spoonful. You probably are going to end up starting with about a half a cup of pasta water. And just whisking that all in together. It's going to be delicious.
So
you want to cook your pasta pretty al dente. You want a little bite in your pasta, so it's going to take no time with fresh pasta to cook that. I'm going to place my pasta right in here. And the reason why, I've got pasta already made. The reason why you want it al dente is because that pasta water is going to absorb into your pasta. Oh gosh, I clearly made this a while ago, so it's all stuck in my colander. Doesn't that look great? All right. So what I'm going to do, in my recipe, I did say like a cup of Pecorino Romano cheese. This is clearly a whole lot more than a cup. But I'm just going to sprinkle a bunch of Pecorino Romano. Pecorino Romano can be found in the like good cheese section. Some people are like, oh my gosh, you spend a lot of money on cheese. Yeah, because it's cheese, friends. Here's my Pecorino Romano label, in case you want to know. I love that it says naturally low in carbohydrates. Well, we're going to fix that problem, aren't we? So we're just going to start tossing this fresh pasta that we just made with all this cheese and all this pasta water and the butter. And I think I'm going to add, it's seeming a little dry to me. And this is what you have to do. This is why I can't make a recipe, is because you really do kind of have to taste as you go. You have to look at the texture as you go. And, you know, just adjust as you need to. So I'm just going to start tossing this together, getting all that pepper in here. It's looking great.
Yeah.
And what you're going to get is basically an adult version of like mac and cheese with pepper. I mean, it's so good. I'm not going to add a whole lot of salt to this because my pasta water is already heavily salted. And Pecorino Romano cheese is a really salty cheese. So I really actually don't need to add a whole lot of salt to this. So if you notice, I now have a nice creamy pasta. It's ready to go. I think I'm just going to add a tiny bit more of my pasta water because I'm going to put a lid on this and go grill that salad super fast. So, Justin, is that grill ready?
Yeah, it's ready to go.
All right, so I'm just going to leave this ready to go for when we come back in from grilling our salad, and then we'll eat. I'm so excited. Let's go outside.
Oh, you got to get this first.
Oh, I know. I have to get this first. So, y'all, I did put a recipe for just a basic balsamic vinaigrette. Balsamic, olive oil, salt, pepper, lemon, honey, Dijon mustard. I put it in my Ninja because then it emulsifies the balsamic vinegar and the oil. But I just brushed this with that vinaigrette, and I'm just going to go and grill it, and we'll put it together as a salad with a little bit more of that, some croutons, some Pecorino Romano cheese. It's going to be delicious. Hopefully the fire is hot, right? That's what we were. Oh, he says hold on. Well, that's okay. You have to scrape it though.
I'll do it right now.
All right. I'm not gonna lie. The first time I did this, I was really frightened because I'm putting lettuce on
Because
the
it
grill.
seems so wrong.
It seems so wrong, but it really is so good. So this is very different from the chicken we did last week where I said you've got to have it on indirect heat. This, you need a hot fire. So this is perfect for if you've got a gas grill. You want a hot fire and you want to go directly on the coals. You've got these romaine hearts that are cut in half, and you just want to do that cut side down. It's just going to be so good, y'all. This one's going to have to wait.
Okay. Should we cover it up?
No, I'm just going to let the fire get super hot on here.
How long do they grill for?
So these grill for, I mean, depends on how hot your grill is, obviously, but these are going to grill for about 3 minutes, and you can press down on them. You're still going to want them to be crunchy on the inside. You're not terribly wilting these things. You're just charring them. So you're just going to leave these for about 3 minutes.
So we had a question about walking and talking. So those of you who are like just kind of getting in on the first episode here or don't know us that well, even like on Sunday at church and stuff, I talk a lot about how Katie and I go on walks and talks, which means this is
you
not
better put your walking shoes on and be ready to have a decent conversation. That's
pretty much what it boils down to. I would like go out in like my dress shoes, and she'd be like, "What are you doing?
What do you plan on doing
like,
right now?"
Well, we're walking. I was like, "What does that mean?" She's like, "Put some sneakers on because we're doing this thing." It's like, "Oh, okay." And then we talk on our walks, and
which means you need to talk about something that goes a little deeper than just surface.
So someone asked, "Is that your only form of conflict resolution, or do you have other tricks?"
Well, so it's not really conflict resolution because we're not usually fighting on those walks.
Not usually. It's hard to fight on a walk in public. So.
Well, and we don't use those to like get away from our kids. Like,
I don't know about that. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to. That's okay.
It's all right.
What we used to do a lot more when our kids were younger, and this would be something if you've got young kids.
And you're coronaing.
Yeah, so we couldn't like.
I'm just gonna flip these over for another minute.
It's so stinking expensive to go out to dinner, like go on a date. And then
we used to hate going to the movies because we'd spend like, $75 between the movie, the popcorn, and the babysitter, and we'd hate the movie.
It's the babysitter. So you'd spend all the money on the babysitting, and then you go out to a really expensive dinner, and you're like, we can do this maybe once a year. Like, so we'll look forward to the date night next year. So we started doing something that we just called in-home date nights, and it would be like this. We would legit put our kids to bed early. We would feed them mac and cheese or whatever, like just something that they want. Or the DiGiorno pizza. I'd be like, yeah, I got dinner. And then we'd put them to bed early as we could, and then we would starve ourselves, and then we would
plan on a nice dinner.
Cook up a dinner together, and then eat it. Put on some Jason Mraz.
Some good music. Jason Mraz.
Sorry if you're offended by that. Or worship music. No, it would always be.
But as far as our marital conflict resolution, I think part of our conflict resolution is that we're really not fighters by nature. We kind of made a decision a long time ago, like that it would be easier to just get along with each other. I don't know.
It is.
We enjoy each other.
It is easier.
You guys, I don't know if you can see this, but some of these have just a nice char on them.
Right,
look at this right here.
Little
cha. So we're gonna need to take this in and wrap this.
All right.
We're gonna wrap this up.
I got this.
We'll plate it up. I'll let Justin just do his pastoring thing and
when we're
we're
plating up.
Oh my goodness, this looks so good.
So, you guys have any questions or anything that we can give you a little more information on? Katie's just going to start plating it up for us so that you can see it.
Ooh, Justin did make these croutons today. I did make him make some croutons.
It's a little bit made.
I think I think Esther is going to have this first plate.
Do you provide curbside pickup? That's Casey.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I did make these today. These croutons. Can I have some?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
Okay.
What else should we tell them while you're plating that up?
Well, I'm done.
Yeah.
So, here's what we got for you guys.
Oh man, look at that.
Take a look. So we just had some day-old bread. We put it in the oven with some garlic, salt, and olive oil and butter. Toasted in the oven at 425 for a little bit, and you got some homemade croutons. They're so much better than what you buy in a bag. I've got some pecorino romano cheese, a little bit of balsamic drizzle on top of that salad. The pasta, and for dessert, we're gonna find a place to put this on. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be delicious.
That looks awesome. That looks awesome. All right, so all of the recipes and everything like that are in the description. You can see that. Or if you're on Facebook right now, you can see that.
Are you eating a crouton?
So in 2 weeks, we're going to do another Cooking with Katie.
Yes.
And we're going to be doing, what do we want to say what we're going to be doing?
We could, or we could get their input.
We could totally get their input.
Why don't we give you some choices? So one idea we had would be to share with you one of our in-home date nights that we used to do all the time, because it was something that we could prepare in advance, shove the kids off to bed, and get it put together fairly quickly. The other thing is that this is normally on Tuesdays, and there's so many good Taco Tuesday recipes. So if you wanted to know a new Taco Tuesday recipe, or your Taco Tuesday's feeling a little drab, we could do a Taco Tuesday. And we also, I just made a brand new recipe the other day for this Asian chicken with this slaw and rice and Brussels sprouts. It was really good.
Sarah Poirier said that this is awesome. We're still rolling pasta.
Oh. Sarah really wanted to cook at the same time, and we've sped things up because of for the sake of time. But good job, Sarah. I can't wait to see your picture, because your picture last time of your coconut cream pie was so good. So those are going to be your choices. Think Asian grilled chicken with a slaw and Brussels sprouts.
Can we at least agree that we're going to make the dessert that we made all the time?
Oh, our in-home date night dessert?
Can we at least say
the molten chocolate cake?
Molten chocolate cakes.
This is another recipe, guys, that is 4 ingredients.
They are so good.
It is so good.
We would put our kids to bed just to have them. Like, even without a date night, we would make molten chocolate cakes on a nightly basis.
I know. We kind of went through a phase where we literally had them 3 or 4 times a week.
And she got really good at them, and I got really good at eating them.
That's when I started long distance running. Throw that out there.
So,
all right. Well, we got to eat. You probably need to continue rolling out your pasta for the next little bit. So we're going to sign off. I hope you guys have a great night. Please join us next time for Cooking with Katie, and we'll make something really delicious.
Thank you, guys. See
all
you
right.
later.
Bye, guys. We miss you.
Good night. All right. I'm going to do this.